Okay, so this morning I'm joined by Dan Britton from the NHS Business Services Authority, mouthful, NHS BSA maybe for the rest of the interview, and Christine Allenson, who is Head Judge for the North East Contact Centre Awards. So good morning to you both and thanks for joining us. Dan, before we go ahead, would you just like to introduce yourself and the business, please?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Louise. Good to be here as well. I'm Dan Britton, Head of Customer Operations for the NHS BSA, and it is an absolute mouthful if you don't use the NHS BSA. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Dan. And Christine?
Yes, I'm Christine Allenson. I'm Head Judge for the North East Contact Centre Awards, supported by a panel of industry experts.
Lovely. Okay, thank you. So Dan, I guess we're here today to talk to you about the fact that the BSA won North East Contact Centre of the Year, over 250 seats, so the big one last year. Yeah. And I think it was probably one of a number of awards that the BSA have won over the last couple of years. That trophy cabinet must be bulging at the seams at the minute. So I guess just to take it back a step, tell us why you went for that award last year. What were the drivers behind it?
Yeah, thanks, Louise. And I think from our point of view, and I suppose from other organisations' point of view, it's a really good opportunity to recognise everybody's hard-earned efforts, hard work, commitments throughout the year. For me, it's not just about getting the trophy to say I won. It's about the symbol of what that means, and the fact that if you win something on the night, whether it's individual or team, it's recognition of what that person's achieved, and whether that's as a group or at an overall level, everything that you've done to work up to that point, the commitment, the hard work, the dedication, and for me, that's what means a lot. Yeah, it's kind of showing that what you do is the right thing to do. Yeah, and that you're kind of hopefully leading the way in a lot of that, and that really sort of helps to encourage a really positive culture and environment for colleagues within the business.
And in terms of the nomination writing, did one single person own that for the Contact Centre of the Year, or was it a collaborative effort across the organisation? What did that look like?
Yeah, it was a collaboration within our team. Obviously, there's quite a lot of points to cover within the Contact Centre of the Year, and not one person has done all of that. So it's a combination of getting the team together of those that have done some of the key bits, who were SMEs in that area, and getting around the table to talk about what we've done and bring that story to life. That's the key bit. It's about it's kind of like saying to yourself, so what? We've done this, but so what? Why does that make it special? Because other people will have really good examples as well. So what? And keep asking that question.
And I guess it was led operationally, not by marketing or HR or people who weren't involved in the operation. Is that right?
Yeah, so it is. It's led from the operation, the contact centre, or the customer operations side of things. It's led by a decision to say we want to get involved in this because we want our colleagues, the staff who do are on the coal face, do the hard work. We want them to be recognised by what we've done and what we do. So it's led by the operation, occasionally with help from within communications and various others based on some of the examples that we might use.
Yeah. Okay. And how did it feel when you found out you've been shortlisted?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's one of those immediate sort of celebration points. You know that you're a finalist. You know you're going to the awards night. It's going to be a great night. But at the same time, to be shortlisted for a number of awards when there's so many people who would be putting in for them, it's kind of that first phase to say you've done a good job. You are still leading in your way, and to be sometimes you're only one of 3, 4, 5, 6 different other finalists. So to still say you're in the top 6 or something is a really special achievement in the Northeast, because contact centres are that's something that we're really proud of within the region, and it's something that we've got a lot of. So there's a lot of skills, talent, and really good work and good people happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
And I guess you get to that point, you celebrate it, and then you're into the judging process, which I imagine is pretty terrifying, although I suspect quite engaging as well. So, and this is where Christine comes in. So I guess, Dan, in terms of the practicalities of the judging process, what did that look like in terms of timescales? How did you go about it last year? Because we were still going through the pandemic at its worst at that point. Presumably it was all virtual.
Yeah, all virtual at a time slot that, you know, we would agree that worked for both sides. So it was something that in the time that you had to plan it in as well. So it wasn't just, by the way, next week we're coming to see you. It's the, you know, it's a time where you can, you know, that you've been shortlisted. There's an element of expectation around what to put together ready for the judge's visit, how long you've got to do that. But yeah, I mean, virtually, it's still an engaging process. It's a group of people around the table that we're all so used to over the last 2 years. So it's not really different from what you would ordinarily do at work. And it gives you a really good chance to talk about what you've done, really show off what you're proud of and why you got shortlisted in the first place.
Good, okay. And Christine, in terms of the judging process for this particular award, tell me a little bit about it from your perspective, because it must have felt quite different last year.
It did, because under normal circumstances, we like to go into the contact centres and so you feel the environment and you feel the culture that's there. So we've had to adapt, we've all had to adapt, but you know, as Dan says, we can still make it engaging. And what we do is we allow the shortlisted companies to set their own agenda, and it's their time, if you like, to showcase to us what they're proud of and what they've achieved. And NHS just stood out last year.
Good. I was going to ask you, what was it about the BSA's nomination that did it for you in the process?
There was a few things in this category, and it is the big award, but the main thing that stood out for us as judges were the people initiatives. There was a lot of people initiatives that were well thought through, they were delivered well, and what's more, they could evidence the impact of that. So they could show us the difference that those initiatives had made to the customers, to the company itself, even to the community, because they were doing things for the people, and the people were then going out into the community. So some really strong initiatives there. There was also their agility and ability to react. It was a very different year last year. And Dan, you know, sometimes what you said was with 24 hours notice, you had to change work streams. So that came across really strong. And there was a real sense of it was one team, no matter who we spoke to across the organisation. They were all very passionate about what they did, and they all told the same story. And that was really engaging for us. And then I guess the final thing was that Dan shares what he does. They go out and they share best practices and they tell people what they've done, all for the good of the industry. So they really are ambassadors for the contact centre industry.
Great. Wow, Dan, beat that.
Yeah, Christine, thank you very much for that. That was, you know, I'm almost welling up when you were talking there about some of the achievements. But yeah, it really matches what we're proud of, in particular the people stuff. I've always said, if you get the people bit right, the customer bit will follow suit. And you know, if you get that passion, the engagement, and you really look after your people, they will give something back, and they'll do their best for the business and for the customer ultimately.
And obviously, following all of that, you went along to the awards night. You clearly didn't know you'd won at that point. How did the organisation feel about the build up to the night? Because I mean, I remember it just being such an amazing night. We hadn't been out in a couple of years. Everyone was a little bit excited, to put it mildly. Tell us a little bit about how your teams all felt going along.
Yeah, and we got a few tables because we wanted to make a night of it. And as you say, Louise, no one had been out for forever, and people, you know, took advantage of that and made it a really good night. And we were sort of hopeful that we would, you know, be recognised in some way, shape, or form. We didn't ever anticipate coming away with, you know, the big one and some of the others that we got, which we were really, really proud of. And to get up on the stage, you know, that point where virtually, when we won some awards virtually, it's great, and you're sitting in your living room running around, but you know, the environment, and
tracksuit bottoms,
shirt and tie and tracksuit bottoms, and whilst it's really nice and you can have a Teams chat afterwards to talk about it, you know, the atmosphere of that sort of crowd roar when you've won and everyone goes up on the stage, nothing beats that. And Charlie was amazing on the night, and we got a chance to have a chat on the microphone as well. I can't remember what I said because I had a couple of wines by then. But
I was just going to ask you, how did it feel when you heard you'd won the big one?
Yeah, amazing. They're the sort of the moments that they don't come off too often, but you've got to make the most of them when they do. And you know, everyone was absolutely over the moon. Some of the stuff that we had some agents there on the night, and some of the stuff they were saying about how chuffed they were and proud and excited. You know, getting that and how those staff feel because of that just makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. And what has it done, Dan, for your organisation since then? So what's sort of the legacy of having won that award?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Louise. And you know, awards are very good at highlighting who you are and what you do, and in a sense of, you know, you're good at what you do, you're really good at what you do. And we've been quite lucky in a way that a lot of work during COVID came our way, and we were able to show what we could do and do it successfully. And these awards just really highlight that those decisions were the right decisions. And actually, from a sponsor point of view, from Department of Health or NHS England or whoever that we work with in the wider NHS family, they now see us as award-winning and successful at what we do. And you know, the opportunities to work more collaboratively in the future come off the back of things like this. So, you know, you cannot really understate it enough.
I guess it's really put the sort of customer contact side of the business right at the heart of the organisation. I guess you already knew it was, but externally and perhaps some internal perceptions weren't that way beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you know, the BSA strategy now, the renewed strategy, which is a 3-year strategy every year to look to see what we're doing. Growth is one of our key goals or ambition. And the contact centre is now, we proved it's very much at the heart of that. So it is now within that strategy, clearly highlighted contact centre opportunity. You know, that's what we've done.
Yeah,
so,
I guess it's having that external view on it that makes you realise that you are up there and you benchmarked against all of these other organisations.
Yeah, and I often thought that the NHS, you know, are we 10 years behind everyone else? It's opportunities like this that make you think you're not 10 years behind. Sometimes you might be a year or two ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Almost a good finish of that one, Dan. Christine, can I ask a question to you? If there's organisations like Dan or people like Dan who are thinking of maybe going for it this year for that big award, what would you say to them?
Just do it. We've gone through so much over the last couple of years that it really is an opportunity for you to showcase what you can do and to celebrate your people. And we are, like you, we're all industry experts. We've all been in that space, so we know what it means to people. And we try and make the judging process as easy and as simple as possible for you. And we would just love to recognise the people that are out there.
And do you have a one tip that you would give?
Be concise and evidence that what you've done has made a difference.
Great. And Dan, what would your Hinton tip be?
Agree with Christine on that one, and ask yourself, so what? When you're thinking something that you've done has been really special, ask yourself, so what, and try and make that special thing even better. Great.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. Thank you so much for this morning. Hopefully we'll be seeing you again at the awards this year. Do you think, Dan, will the BSA be going in for some?
Yeah, we'll be putting in, as always. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Okay, I look forward to seeing your name in lights again. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Louise.